Hi, my name is Lisa Wong. What an honor it has been to serve as your mayor for the past 3 terms. When I first ran for office in 2007, I laid out a long-term strategy that began with stabilizing Fitchburg, leading reforms to restore confidence in the city, improving our education system to protect the future of our children, and the value of our biggest investments, our homes. I also laid out a vision for economic development, from the restoration of our mills, the attraction of businesses, and the revitalization of our neighborhoods by embarking on large-scale public reinvestments like the train station and roadways, and the formation of neighborhood groups to engage you. I am pleased to report that we are on track. The road to financial recovery has not been an easy one. Fitchburg was in trouble even before the global Great Recession, but we are reaching our milestone of stability. Recently, our bond rating was upgraded to the highest in over a decade, to an A+. And we have reached the minimum savings level in the form of our stabilization fund. And with major funding from the state and federal government, we are fixing roads, bridges, and dams. Many of these accomplishments may soon be forgotten, but that's okay. I hope we never get back to the brink of bankruptcy again. And now that we are away from the ledge, we are embarking on a new era, an era of growth. Across the city, you will see new life in mills that were vacant for decades. With a $1 million grant from the state to turn a vacant lot into a beautiful trail and community garden along the river, we have seen almost $20 million in private investment as a result. From big projects like the Riverside Commons, that is converting a vacant mill into market rate housing for young professionals, on River Street, to grassroots projects like a renovated house nearby for a handicapped individual and his family. Both projects are changing lives and neighborhoods for the better. Down Route 31 in West Fitchburg, the construction of the Wachusett Commuter Rail project is on track, and a new business, Great Wolf Resorts, is going high speed with a $60 million investment that will create hundreds of private sector jobs and attract people from all over New England to our city. At the other end of Fitchburg, in the east, the city is engineering new roadways for Summer Street and John Fitch Highway. These important gateway streets have not been touched in decades, and we will be undertaking a major new multi-year effort to mitigate the flooding, make the roadways safer for drivers, bikers, and pedestrians, and most importantly, to grow businesses new and existing. With hard work and tough decisions, Fitchburg is becoming new and great again. In our schools, you will see not only renovated buildings, but a huge increase in our test scores across every grade. In fact, we were recently informed that one of our elementary schools is one of the fastest growing in the state in terms of top test scores. And in our high school, the new Honors Academy and AP courses, which is advanced placement, are giving our children a head start on a bright future. Speaking of a bright future, I'm pleased to announce the next phase of the city's streetlight project. Earlier this year, the city was able to seize the lights from Unitil and save the taxpayers' money. We will be investing in the lights to turn 100% of the lights on by converting the lights to brighter and cleaner LED technology lights. This investment over time will actually save the city even more money, even though more lights are on, and we can reinvest the funding back into the city. This is another example of the smart and strategic work that we are doing. I know my 4th term will be the best one yet. It is wonderful to see so many residents and businesses really step up and do your part. You have joined boards and commissions, you have forged innovative partnerships, and you have been turning the city's image around to a positive and hopeful one. Next year, we will be looking forward to celebrating our city's 250th anniversary. I want to thank you for support, and to find out more about these great initiatives and to help, go to my website at www.votelisawong.com. Thank you.
My name is Marcus DiNatale, and I am a candidate for Fitchburg City Councilor at large. Political fortitude, objectivity, and sound financial analysis are what I bring to the City Council, and it is my firm belief that these qualities are needed now more than ever. Fitchburg still faces financial challenges. A top priority for me has and will continue to be how to best prioritize the use of limited funds with an eye towards how decisions made today will affect the city's bottom line tomorrow. The votes I make are based on financial facts, not popularity or personalities. The City Council serves as a check and balance to the mayor. While some maintain that opposition to many of the mayor's spending policies is backward thinking, I say it is simply part of a counselor's job to raise questions. Questions such as, is this the best and most impactful use of taxpayer money? Should be asked over and over again, especially if this spending is coming from funds that are in our rainy day or free cash account. Free cash should never be used to hire new employees or fund department head raises. It is bad financial practice and one I have fought against. One example involves a proposal by the mayor and agreed to by a majority of the city council to fund a 14.5% pay raise for one city employee. Are the taxpayers of Fitchburg getting this type of raise at their own jobs? What does this say to the hundreds of residents who still have no street light on? This raise could have restored 63 lights as one example. This is what I mean by priorities. My pledge to you is simple. Anytime you contact me requiring assistance from the city or have questions, you can count on a timely response and a resolution. I work for you, and in order to gain and maintain your trust, being accessible and accountable is an obvious requirement of the job. Fitchburg has and will continue to be my home. It is a city I have tremendous pride for and a place where my wife Sarah and I feel comfortable. I look forward to serving you. On November 5th, please cast one of your 5 votes for Marcus DiNatale for Councilor at Large. I will be second on the ballot. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Stephen Hay, candidate for re-election as Councilor at Large on your Fitchburg City Council. I'm asking for your vote on Tuesday, November 5th. I seek re-election as Councilor at Large because we need strong, thoughtful leadership in response to the issues facing Fitchburg. We need representatives on our City Council who will work together to help make our vision of Fitchburg a reality. I care about Fitchburg and its residents. We have a responsibility to our elders, our children, and our families to make this city a place we are proud to live in. I'm an advocate for public safety and education. We need to ensure that our neighborhoods are safe and that every child has an opportunity to receive the best education available. We need to make sure our public safety personnel and educators have the tools necessary to do their jobs. I believe the city should implement business practices and procedures. But unlike a business which has a responsibility to return a dividend to its stockholders, the mayor and city council have a responsibility to supply the best services to the residents of Fitchburg in the most cost-efficient manner. Through my experience as president of the city council, chairman of the finance committee, chairman of legislative affairs, chairman of the property committee, chairman of the appointments committee, and member of the public safety and public works committees, I have developed a knowledge of our city and its government that are essential to functioning as an effective councilor at large. Through my education, work experience, and history of public service, I have developed the skills required to represent you well as a councilor at large. Through my participation in service with various organizations within Fitchburg, I have demonstrated a commitment to our community and its residents. As both a ward councilor and councilor at large, I have always been responsive and accessible to residents and assisted them in their interactions with city departments and boards. If re-elected as councilor at large, I will continue to assist residents in these areas. I live at 30 Shauna Street with my wife Cynthia and have 2 sons, Dylan and Griffin. I earned a BA from Clark University and an MFA from Rutgers University. If you share my commitment to our city and my vision of a better Fitchburg, I ask for your vote on Tuesday, November 5th, as councilor at large. My 2 promises to you, the residents of Fitchburg, are hard work and honesty. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Rosemary Reynolds, I'm currently a city councilor at large in the city of Fitchburg, and I'm here to ask you for your vote of confidence to continue in the work that I've begun with the council and with the mayor. We've made great strides in stabilizing the city of Fitchburg. I want to talk to you today about three of our greatest needs. The first need that I see in the city is the need for job creation. We're a city of approximately 40,000 people, and I'll be using numbers in the round when I use numbers today to speak to you. And we have a workforce of approximately 18,500 people. In the Census Bureau papers that were released for the figures of 2012, Fitchburg has a 10% rate of joblessness. Now this, I think, is what we should go after immediately and reduce that in fairness to the people. We also have a age young people in Fitchburg. The average age is 34 years old, which is 3 years younger than the state average. And so these people need to have the opportunity to earn money and care for their families. On the other hand, too, I would like to say that in fairness, we should reduce the real estate taxes for homeowners who have been carrying the burden during these difficult, rough years. And I propose that we reduce that by at least 0.25% next year. Because, as you know, people, our homes have reduced in value. So I think that it's only just that we do that and that we ardently go after new jobs. Fortunately, we have coming to our area a large national resort group called the Wolf Resort Group, and they intend to become the top employer in Fitchburg. They anticipate employing 550 people, which is even higher than our second employer, which is Fitchburg State University, who employs 505 people, followed closely by Simon Saw & Steel and Demula Supermarket. So with this influx, we will become the 12th resort in this Wolf chain that spreads out across the country, and the first one in New England. Along with that comes a $25 million campaign on their part to advertise the resort. And I think if we're on the ball, we can quickly have ancillary businesses feeding off of that. Next, I think we should maintain our school excellence. We have one of the top 15 schools with Crocker School here in the state, which is excellent. We have creative, innovative people that are doing the best with the monies we have. You know, nearly half of our budget is spent on schools. We receive $45 million from the state and kick in $3 million from the citizens here. And the third is to look forward to working to reduce debt obligation due to OPEB, which you hear a lot about. That's an acronym for Other Post-Employment Benefits, which means health and life insurance. We're not sure the amount, but we had a figure of $183 million as of 2011, and that will consume a lot of our attention in the future. So I ask you for your vote, and I'm so glad to represent you, and please always speak to me. You, the citizens, are who count. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Dean Tran, and I am a candidate for re-election as your city councilor at large. For those who don't know who I am a longtime resident of Fitchburg. I graduated from the Fitchburg public school system and then went on to receiving my bachelor's degree and master's in business administration. I have served on the Fitchburg Cable Oversight Committee, the Board of Trustees for the Wallach Civic Center, and the Planning Board prior to my election as your city councilor at large. I'm married to my wonderful wife, Carrie, and we have 4 beautiful children, Isabel, Olivia, Madeline, and Dean. For more information on my background, you can visit my website at deantran.com or contact me directly at 978-855-9622. I have always put the welfare and interests of the city first and foremost. Not only have I worked to provide adequate staffing to our city departments, but also I've been an advocate to providing adequate services to the people of Fitchburg. Here are some of the things I've worked on to protect the residents and the city. I have voted against property tax increases. I have voted for adequate funding to our schools and programs for our children. I have voted for proper funding for our seniors and veteran programs and services. I crafted one of the toughest sex offender ordinances to protect our children, a legislation that put our cities years ahead of others. I petitioned the city to practice equality for women by changing our city code book. Everyone is entitled to a pain-free life, which is why the dispensing of marijuana by prescription should be in the proper location. I helped craft the marijuana moratorium, another legislation that has put us ahead of our neighboring cities. I proposed the creation of an economic development position dedicated to expanding our businesses and commercial tax base. And I have also proposed to limit the property tax increase. In the next few years, there are two issues that will devastate our city if we don't address them in a timely manner. First, the city's finances. In 2006, I proposed not to raise the property tax to the maximum, and my colleagues did not agree. It is now projected in 5 years the city will reach its tax levy ceiling, and we will not be able to raise any more revenue through property taxes to sustain the current spending. This is because the city has increased the property tax to the maximum since 1982. My proposal would have allowed the city to extend the ceiling and give us additional time to address our financial problems and work on a plan to bring businesses to the city and increase our commercial base. This is the reason, for this year, I have proposed to limit the property tax increases to 2.25% for the next 5 years. In addition, I have also proposed and unanimously approved by the city the creation of an economic development position. Economic development has to be a commitment in order to improve the city. These are parts of a puzzle that are needed in order to move Fitchburg forward. Further, we need to examine our spending on instant gratifications and focus on paying our debts. We cannot pass this burden on to the next generations to solve. All these items should be part of a 5-year growth plan. Second, public safety. The city of Fitchburg witnessed 3 murders in the last 2 years and ranked second most dangerous city in central Massachusetts. According to the data from Massachusetts major cities chiefs from 2007 and 2000 to 2012, total crimes increased by 23%. During this time frame, the city reduced the police department by 16 patrol officers and turned off streetlights. There is a correlation between the reductions and crimes. The safety that we are not providing to our residents is unacceptable. In addition, the city resorted to using state troopers to patrol our streets, which is also unacceptable. Crimes have a tremendous negative effect on the image of our city and need to be addressed with urgency. The city's current staff level in the police department is overworked and exhausted, creating a poor working environment and an unsafe city for the people. There is no question that we need to increase the personnel in the police department and turn the streetlights back on. It is paramount to have a safe city for the residents to live, work, and raise their families. Fitchburg is what I call home. We need to put the future of the city before anything else. Help me move the city forward. Together, we can continue to come up with innovative ideas to solve these issues. I will be number 5 on the ballot for councilor at large. I ask for one of your 5 votes to continue working for you. I'm Dean Tran. Thank you very much.
My name is Nick Carboni. I am currently the Ward 5 councilor in Fitchburg. I am running at large this year. A little bit about me. I grew up in Fitchburg. I've gone to Fitchburg schools all my life. Started out in parochial school at St. Anthony's. Went to Fitchburg High. Then got my political science degree at Fitchburg State University and on to law school in Andover. From then, I became an attorney and I practiced here in Fitchburg. Basically, what makes me unique for this position is that I'm familiar with Fitchburg. I've been here all my life, and my family has been involved in many small businesses, so I know the struggles and triumphs that come with that, and I kind of liken that to my time here in Fitchburg. So why I'm running for at-large this time rather than Ward 5 again is over the past 2 years, I think Fitchburg has seen a positive reaction from the citizens, and I think that's partially been because of the new councilors that came in over the past 2 years, and I think people like to see a fresh perspective, and I'd like to see that keep moving, so I'm moving on to at-large positions to make room for more new people. There are many challenges Fitchburg faces currently and has faced for many years, including the exorbitant prices from Unitil, the governor is withholding some of our Chapter 90 money, which are funds we normally use for infrastructure. That will be another problem that we have to work through over this next administration. The dual tax rate, and we need to keep fixing our roads and turning on more lights, which are both positives and challenges for Fitchburg. I think we're doing the best we can to pave as many roads as possible, and I think many people have seen that, particularly in Ward 5, seeing Ridge Road and 31 both paved. The lights, I think that's another positive, that we bought them from Unitil, we're sticking it to Unitil, and I think people love to see that. We're just working on keeping the costs low and turning the rest of them on, about 800 or so, I believe. Other positives are the new businesses and developers coming into Fitchburg, which are really exciting projects. One being Great Wolf Lodge, and there are some developers on River Street and on Main Street doing projects there in Fitchburg. There's a big arts movement expanding here in Fitchburg, and the college is continuing to expand. I think these are also big positives. Another thing, over the last year, I worked on the Long Show Foundation, and we brought back the race this year, and I think that was a huge, huge thing for Fitchburg, and we'd love to see it back again. And I think, we got to hold on to opportunities like this. This is a big thing for Fitchburg, and we need to keep it up. Lastly, I'll end this speech with a small story about Fitchburg. The other night, I had the occasion to go to one of the art galleries in Fitchburg, the Revival Gallery, and actually some friends I went to high school with, their band played Magic Island, and it was great to be out on Main Street, probably about 100 people out there, nice night, and it was a great feeling, and I'd love to see things like this keep moving forward in Fitchburg. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Dave Clark, and I'm a candidate for Fitchburg's Councilor at Large. If you don't know me, I'm the son to John and Rosemary. Mom and Dad came to Fitchburg from Glasgow, Scotland. I'm a husband to Sherry. We recently celebrated our 30th wedding anniversary. I'm a proud dad to 3 daughters, Kate, Courtney, and Kimmy. I worked at WEIM Radio from 1980 to 2006. Some people still remember that I had that job. I'm currently employed at Fitchburg State University, coming up on 25 years. I'm a member of the Crocker Field Restoration Committee. I'm on the board of directors here at Fitchburg Access Television, and have volunteered broadcasting many games, including, and currently, Fitchburg High School football games. I've coached in the Fitchburg Street Hockey League, and for laughs, played softball for just over 56 hours straight while raising money for charity and getting Fitchburg in the 1981 Guinness Book of World Records. That was a long time ago. I served as vice president on the Fitchburg School Committee, and finally, it has been my honor to be a city councilor in Ward 1 from 2006 to the present. Currently, I'm the vice president of the council, chairman of appointments, member of Finance, Public Safety, and Public Works Committees. A promise that I made while running for a council seat was that if I were fortunate enough to win 4 straight terms, I would step aside. My intent was to get more people involved. So, true to my promise, I did not run for the Ward 1 seat, and we have 2 very good candidates running for that spot in the upcoming election. For me, I decided to place my name on the ballot as a candidate for Councilor at Large and run citywide. I do so because I love helping people. There's nothing like a resident contacting you, explaining a problem, and getting it solved. We haven't solved everything, but I've been an advocate for all in our ward. I've enjoyed representing my ward. I'll continue some of the success in Ward 1 to the entire city. I'm proud of my attendance record, all the different functions. I'll put my record against anyone's. I can't recall missing a council meeting or a council vote. I used to keep track of that stuff. I don't anymore, but in order to get something done, you have to be there first. I voted yes for a new trash pickup. I voted yes for a debt exclusion vote that would have allowed residents to vote for or against a plan to fix our streets. I'll continue to be accessible to the public. For the last almost 8 years, we've had monthly meetings at the South Street Elementary School. We also had meetings at 350 Water Street and the Fitchburg Green Acres. To me, communication is so important. To hear a problem firsthand can be a real help. When I get elected, I'll continue neighborhood meetings, hopefully alongside the ward councilor in that area. Finally, 8 years ago, could you have foreseen a plan to put $5 million in a stabilization account? Did you really think that all that work at Fitchburg State would really happen? Well, it has happened. Heck, 8 years ago, the university was a college, and like I said, now we're a university. Fitchburg is our home. The clocks aren't moving anywhere. I also don't want to look at the city through rose-colored glasses. I'll continue to be honest, responsive, and committed for the entire city. And I respectfully ask for your support on Election Day, November 5th. That's Dave Clark, Councilor at Large. Thank you for your consideration.
Hello, Fitchburg voters. My name is Kevin Lynch. I am running for City Council at Large here in Fitchburg. I am asking for you to consider me for one of the 6 City Council at Large seats available. I have decided to run as I could not sit back anymore and to watch the constant rubber stamping that has been used to raise every rate and every tax on all Fitchburg citizens. No matter if you live in rural Fitchburg or the inner city, you have been negatively affected by all the cuts to services in higher water, sewer, and property taxes. I am a conservative independent, as I would not allow this rubber stamping to continue. I am asking for you to add my independent conservative vote to this council so we can have the votes needed to properly manage Fitchburg. I would immediately propose for all the city councilors to forego their $6,000 stipend salary to be used to fund such tax cuts for our elder and disabled citizens. At present, we collect $40 million in tax revenue, and we only have tax discounts that involve a total of 30 seniors receiving $175 each for a total of $5,000. I feel that this is unacceptable, as we need to give back more than a total of $5,000 out of $45 million to our citizens. I have many such proposals that I have outlined on my Facebook account, Lynch for City Council at Outlook.com. At present, Fitchburg's tax rate is $27 per thousand for business and $19 per thousand for residents. Our neighbor, Leominster, who we compete with for some business, not only has major route access to give them an edge, but they have a $17 per thousand tax rate for their businesses. Budget 2014 has Fitchburg reaching the levy ceiling. With the levy limit of the percentage that it can burden its citizens and businesses with. There are many negatives to our position as a city in this regard. I strongly feel that our tax rate has to be lower than Leominster's in order to compete. We need to begin to market Fitchburg as a place to live and to start a business. At present, there are over 10,000 vacant homes in Fitchburg, which is another area where we could raise up to $4 million in tax revenue, which would in essence widen our tax base, taking some burden off of our citizens. Our roads are becoming neglected in order for our city council to oblige Mayor Wong with another $500,000 into the stabilization fund. Such neglect is going to cost us double to repair when the mayor begins to borrow millions to repair our roads. If this is the last term for Mayor Wong, then I can foresee the next mayor having to deal with some serious revenue shortfalls that will be impossible to regain, as the city is already using CDBG fundings to fund normally funded city budget items. These funds are supposed to be used to assist businesses and to keep our neighborhoods from becoming run down. Such juggling of these numbers works well for a political resume, but at the same time negatively affects every citizen of Fitchburg's disposable incomes. If elected, I will never favor any one party over the other due to political correctness. We need to manage an entire city, both rural and inner city neighborhoods of Fitchburg. As tax and fee increases affect every citizen of Fitchburg, we need to build a stronger and safer community here in Fitchburg. Our school system just received higher grades, which we need to capitalize on when marketing Fitchburg. On this point, I would like to say thank you to all our teachers for their hard work. I was raised a Catholic. I served as an altar boy for archbishops. I was involved in all neighborhood sports and events as a young man. I attended college and graduated with high honors with a concentration on business. I was involved in the 2 honor societies. I have since taken managerial accounting and other advanced courses in my pursuit of a bachelor's degree. What I am stating here is that I have always worked towards a better community, and I always set my goals to achieve high honors. I promise to you all that if elected, I will continue this trend. Thank you for listening, and thank you, FATV, for giving me this opportunity. Have a great day.
Good morning. My name is Peter Stevens, and I'm a candidate for re-election to the Fitchburg School Committee. I have served 7 years on the Fitchburg School Committee and would like to continue to serve to help the students in our excellent school system. We have made much progress in the last year and would like to see all of our schools reach level 1. This can only happen with a dedicated teachers, administrators, and a school committee who supports those goals. I live in Fitchburg with my wife Claudia, who was a teacher in the Fitchburg public school system for 33 years. I was a teacher and administrator for 35 years in the Fitchburg public school system, and all 3 of my children graduated from Fitchburg High School. I now have 5 grandchildren who will be going to school, and I want them to have the same excellent education that my children had. Fitchburg always faces budget problems, cuts to grants, which the schools count on, increased cost to fix budget items, and the threat of a new charter school, which would hurt the progress we have made because of the money it would take from the school district. I will continue to work with the other members of the school committee and a very supportive city council to offer a comprehensive program in the Fitchburg public schools. Please consider me for one of your votes for school committee. Thank you, Peter Stevens.
Hello, my name is Jean LeBell Pierce, and I'm running for school committee. My connection to the Fitchburg Public Schools runs deep. I graduated from Fitchburg High School in 1985. I taught at Fitchburg High School from 1993 to 1997, and my own children attend the schools in middle school and elementary school now. So I feel I have a unique vantage point of having been a student, a teacher, and a parent in this school system. As a result, I feel I have a sense of both the great strengths of our schools as well as the challenges that they face. First and foremost, I'm running for school committee to make the strengths of the Fitchburg public school system its storyline. It's been disheartening for me to see people I know choose to educate their children in districts outside of Fitchburg. And of course, this also means that Fitchburg's tax dollars follow them. I want to work to keep our families committed to the local schools. How do we do that? Well, one of the ways to do that is to get better at promoting the great successes of the students and teachers and administrators in this system. I applaud the recent public success stories that have been made public in the newspaper, such as the change in level status of several schools in the district through their MCAS scores, as well as the complimentary feedback that came from the Secretary of Education recently on a trip to Fitchburg, and most recently, the success of the AP Scholars at Fitchburg High School. But we need to find a way to get this information out beyond the newspaper, because unfortunately, a lot of people don't read the newspaper. We need to make this a running dialogue at events the schools run, out in events in city businesses, at public forums, in school assemblies, for students and for other adults. Our children need to get the message that hard work pays off and that they're part of a successful, respected, and proud system. But we also need to be honest about where we don't measure up. And then we need to vigorously address those challenges. For example, in the district that I currently teach in, parents have a lot of transparency to the curriculum and their children's grades. Curriculum maps that lay out objectives taught, standards covered, essential questions asked, are available online for parents. Student grades for individual assignments and class averages are available online so that students can be more accountable for their work and parents can be more accountable for their children. There are even more advanced platforms that house curriculum materials and homework handouts, so that even online videos of classrooms, so that students have access to the class materials, even if they're absent or if they've forgotten their work at school. These technologies are easy to implement. Much of these technologies already exist in the Fitchburg Public Schools, but it lacks a consistent approach to implementation. I would work on that implementation, and it would be a great asset for all the stakeholders in the community. As a teacher, I understand what it means every time a new requirement is placed on a school, and I'd be a voice to help implement changes in a thoughtful and practical way, ensuring ample professional development is provided for and solicited from Fitchburg's own staff. There are great educators in this city, and we need to use their talent to develop these initiatives. As a parent, I want my children to have the finest education they can. I want their education to be purposeful and innovative. I personally don't think that means they have to be in the wealthiest community in the state. We have a strong, diverse, historically proud school system. Our alumni are impressive. As a city, we can keep that promise for every generation of Fitchburg school students, and that's why I'm running for school committee. Thank you.
Hi there, my name is Amy Green and I'm your candidate for Ward 1 Counselor. I would like to thank all of you who voted in the preliminary election. It is with your support that allows me to move forward. When asked why I was running for City Council, I simply replied, because I want to make a difference in this community and in this city. My husband Brian and I have lived at 157 Walton Street for the past 17 years, and I own Back and Touch Wellness Center located at 244 Walton Street as well. So as you can see, we are vested in the community and invested in the neighborhood. I have a strong commitment to the city. I am a neighbor that wants to work for you and with you to make this community better. So the question is, how am I going to make Fitchburg better? My goals address public safety, neighborhood watch groups, and fiscal planning. Okay, under public safety, that's on the minds of everyone. My goal is to get more police officers on the streets, increase the number of police officers available for deployment, and look for resources that will afford us the opportunity to increase our entire police force. I would like to establish active neighborhood watch groups. This is community policing in action. We know this type of effort works. With watch groups in place and a working relationship with our police department, we will reduce crime in our city, provide a better quality of life for ourselves and our neighborhoods, and instill a greater sense of security, responsibility, and personal control. My ward is looking for volunteers who would love to jumpstart this program. If you're interested, you can contact me. Moving on to fiscal planning, my emphasis will be to allocate money into the stabilization fund before any other spending is done. I will support a budget that keeps residents safe, streetlights on, and roads maintained. I would also like to encourage business growth by supporting the TIF program, which is the tax increment financing, and look at where access to Fitchburg from Route 2 would be appealing to businesses, easy on and off, thus an easy commute, and where land is already in place. The two locations that I'm referring to are one, the Fitchburg Airport. Maybe we could look at rezoning for additional uses or repurposing the land. Again, these are just ideas. I don't even know if this would ever be possible, but I would like us to consider new ideas or developments. The second location would be the industrial park at Route 31. Again, I'm just asking that you consider possibilities brought forward from a new set of eyes or from someone who looks at things with a solution always in mind. In closing, I would like to say, remember to vote Tuesday, November 5th. I will be always approachable, responsive, and accessible. You can contact me by phone, 978-230-1815. You can email me at voteamygreen@gmail.com, or you can visit the website voteamygreen.com. Again, thanks for your support. Go Team Green.
Hi, my name's Kelly Johnson and I'm running for your Ward 1 City Council. I was born and raised in Fitchburg and I have a 9-year-old son in the public school system at South Street. I'm running because I am ready for a challenge. I've been very involved with Fitchburg over the past few years, heading to meetings, speaking my mind as I find that I have interest in subjects, often just listening when I don't have necessarily an opinion, but I'd like to learn more. City Council is my next step, and I appreciate the resources that we have in Fitchburg, and I'd like to see them more utilized. Within City Council, safety absolutely is an issue, as well as budgeting. I do know that Fitchburg Police Department has the Citizens on Patrol program, and I know it is underutilized. Part of my goals are to increase volunteerism so that we can make up some of the missing budgets and safety concerns while really taking a proactive step within our neighbors from our citizens. I know that the more we are with our neighbors, the better we feel, the better our children feel about being outside, going to our parks, the safer we feel. So if we can stand up together and know what resources we have, then I really feel that I can be an active part of this and letting people know resources. As well, as for homeowners, tax budgets are an ongoing issue, concern. I hope to look further into these, to understand them more, and to really take concerns that I've been hearing over the past few years and address them and see what we can do to bring in business. The business tax rate is higher than residential, yet residential we get most of our taxes from. If we can go ahead with work with businesses and work with landlords who are renting to these businesses, then our tax base will increase. And it's a matter of allowing businesses to have consumers come into the city and be proud of this city so that they can pay their rents and they can pay their bills and they can pay their salaries and make incomes for their own families. And that will increase our tax base here in Fitchburg, thus helping our budget. As well, I'm fiscally conservative, so I want to dig deep into seeing where we shouldn't be spending, where we can cut, where we can budget things differently, where we can continue saving. Also, cleanups. I do know that our Department of Public Works is short on resources. So again, going ahead with volunteerism. I'm very proud that Fitchburg does about 6 cleanups every year in the spring. However, I feel that as a ward counselor, I would like to see 6 ward cleanups in each ward. So therefore, we would have many more manpower. You would feel better about the parks. Our children would feel safer walking down our sidewalks. And instead of just wondering what's going to be done, I'd like people to come to me and say, Kelly, how can you help me get more people to come to this neighborhood? And I'll work with you. I can't be everywhere, I can't do everything. However, I can be a resource for you. I can follow up for you. I can make sure that you have what you need to take charge, because each of us have our own passions, and you need someone to look for what other resources we have. So I look forward to each of you getting to know your candidates and appreciating what each of us have to offer. I do hope you support me and my views. I want to thank the Sentinel and Enterprise, Telegram, as well as FATV. They've all been very great throughout this process. And I want to thank each of my neighbors who have been very humble to me. I appreciate all of your times, and I do hope for your vote on November 5th. Thank you.
Hi, today I'm here to talk to you. I was told to give my speech and make sure it was positive. So what better way can I give a positive speech to tell you that, hi, my name is Paula Bozeman. I live in Fitchburg and I'm a lifelong resident. I'm married to Carmen Bozeman and I have 3 children named Paul, Emily, and Eric, all products of the Fitchburg school system. Before I start, I'd like to give my congratulations to the Fitchburg teachers and the students of Fitchburg. You make us very proud and your upgrades on your test scores. I want to say thank you and keep up the good work. I believe that you're going to play a major part in changing Fitchburg. And if you get your scores up higher next year, I think you see things start to change in our city. So again, keep up the good work and thank you very much for your efforts. Now I'm here to tell you some positive. I positively will tell you this, that as we drive around the city streets, our sidewalks will not be cluttered with weeds and debris. Our main arteries will not have papers and trash all over the area. And so I'm asking you for your vote. I promise you one thing and only one thing, that I will work very hard for the people of Ward 2. I will make it interesting and I'll do the best possible job I possibly can do. I want to say thank you very much for your time and thank you for letting me be on the ballot. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Michael Kushmerek and I'm running to be your Ward 4 City Councilor in Fitchburg. For the past 5 years, I've worked at Fitchburg State University as the Director of Annual Giving. And for the past 9 years, I've lived in Fitchburg, primarily in Ward 4. I'm running for a couple of reasons. The first is I feel a strong sense of commitment to Fitchburg and a desire to give back to a community that's influenced me positively in so many different ways, among them the place where I've earned both a bachelor's and a master's degree, found my career calling, met the love of my life and my fiance, and enjoyed a wonderful community to live in. The second is this is where I see my city. This is where I see my future in this city. As my fiance and I talk about our future, we look at buying a home here in Fitchburg and raising our children and putting them through the school system one day, and that's an exciting future for me to look forward to. So in Fitchburg, I believe that we have an idea of what many of the negative issues are in the city and what many of the hurdles that we must overcome, among them crime, economics, and infrastructure. But I believe that as we confront these areas of need, we must do so with a positive attitude, continuing to focus on many of the positive things that we've done as a city over the past decade while addressing these negative areas. I believe economics, that we must focus on re-identifying ourselves and reimagining ourselves as an economical area. And I believe that in terms of downtown redevelopment, that we should focus on already budding areas in terms of arts and culture with a strong university community already here in place. So I believe that as we reinvent ourselves as a hub of arts and culture and as a university downtown, I think that's an exciting future for this city and a future that would be well poised for positive success in the city. I believe that in terms of infrastructure, we must continue to invest in our infrastructure systems. we must create a perception that is equal to our reality. That reality is we have beautiful neighborhoods, beautiful communities. We take pride in our neighborhoods and our homes. And our infrastructure system should reflect that same level of pride that we have in our own communities and homes. In terms of crime prevention, I think we've made some tremendous strides this past decade, in particular the past 5 years. I think that we've created a culture that truly embraces collaborative relationships between law enforcement professionals and our communities. And I believe that as a new police chief transitions in with the new year, it presents us with some wonderful opportunities to move forward as a city. And I think it presents the City Council and the city the opportunity to say that they truly wish to invest and give more resources back to our public safety officials and departments. So finally, I believe we must continue to create a culture of communication and collaboration. My pledge to you is to continue to be open-minded, is to listen to outside opinions and underrepresented populations in the city. I think we're going to face many hurdles together as a community and as a city, crime, infrastructure, and economics among them. But I believe we must approach these areas with a positive attitude, and I think if we do so, we'll be well poised to succeed throughout the future. I thank you for your support, and I ask for your vote on November 5th. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Nisha Bollinger, candidate for Ward 3 City Council. I'd like to start with a brief introduction of myself. I was born here in Fitchburg, and I have a large family here as well as across the United States. My father was a longtime employee of Simon's, where he was awarded the opportunity to transfer from state to state throughout my life. So my family has lived across the country, and we decided to come back to Massachusetts and settle down. That is where I graduated high school in Oakmont Regional High School in 1997, and at the same time I was just starting my young family. My daughter Brooke is 16, my son Brendan is 14, and my son Aiden is 6. They attend Monty Tech, Narragansett, and Rangold Elementary. I'm a recent graduate of Mount Wachusett Community College, where I earned Associates in Human Service. Right now I'm working on completing my Bachelor's of Science in Human Services and minoring in Sociology, and continue through my Master's with Fitchburg State University. My past is what contributes to my cultural awareness, my diversity, and my understanding of many different cultures, customs, and populations, from moving across the country and my 3 children being in different school systems. I was able to grow my resources and networks that serve as a base for my skills and my contributions back to the communities that I serve. So I consider myself a community engagement advocate, dedicated a year of public service to AmeriCorps, where I was stationed at Mount Wachusett Community College to develop a sustainable program to help traditional and non-traditional students overcome obstacles and barriers that got in the way of their education and personal goals. With that, I also built an extensive network of resources across sectors and served as a liaison and advocate for what people needed and wanted in their communities, including Fitchburg. I spent 4 years as a police matron's officer and dispatcher for the town of Winchendon, where I adopted a greater appreciation for public service. This has fostered further growth in my dedication to the community in which I serve. I'm currently serving as a volunteer for FEMA, Fitchburg Emergency Management Agency, where I'm able to offer support to services and residents, police and fire departments in many different capacities. I'm also an interim associate director with United Way Youth Venture, where I visit middle schools and high schools, including Fitchburg, helping students create and develop new innovative ways to become social change makers in their communities. Because I'm so embedded in the community, I understand that Fitchburg is a wonderfully diverse community with many positive attributes, but I also understand the need for progression in financial and civic responsibilities. With strong leadership that is willing to make things happen and get things done by working collaboratively with every department, every business, and every citizen, and giving a voice to the people that want to make the movement towards community betterment. I want to be able to empower the citizens to feel free to do so. As someone who is a beginner in an elected seat, I'm prepared to face the challenge. I will comb through history, I will look up the city's plans and budget with a new fresh set of eyes. I will take a look at where the money has gone and where it is supposed to be, and who is spending it on what, and give careful consideration and reasonable considerations to new proposals with a fresh set of eyes. As I realize this is a big task, I also realize myself and others are capable of taking the energy and the time it is required to do so. I would like to put attention on the strategic plans and improvement for public services, trash removal, utilities, and road conditions, as well as looking at what's missing in these plans. I believe in my community. I believe that given the right leadership, the people will respond. People will become active, positive members and give back, just as I have. So on November 5th, when you enter the polls, remember to look at the name that stands for Commitment to Community and Dedication to Progress. Nisha Bollinger for Ward 3.
Hello, my name is Trisha Park. I'm 42 years old. I live at 73 Marshall Street, and I'm running for Ward 4 Councilor. I've lived in Fitchburg for 15 years, and I'm employed as a letter carrier at the Fitchburg Post Office. The reason I chose to run for City Council is I feel I'm invested in Fitchburg. I have donated many years coaching our city's Pop Wanna cheerleading team. I have delivered food to deserving families on holidays, and I've devoted my life to our children's education and our future, their future. At this point in my life, I feel I want to serve our city on a higher level. I can be and will be the deserving voice that you need to make Fitchburg a cleaner and safer place. Talking with my constituents, a lot of them feel that the crime is on the rise, and I will fight for more police to patrol our streets. Our citizens are really tired of tax increases, and I think we really need to bring businesses into Fitchburg to help homeowners, help them with the burden of the taxes. Our citizens' education is a very, very important to me. Fitchburg has excellent schools, and I will continue to be a part of that to ensure that our children have a chance for a good education and a successful future. If I'm elected as your counselor, I do promise to listen to you and to try my best to address our needs. I feel I'm the perfect person to represent you as a letter carrier on the streets of our ward 6 days a week, 10 hours a day. Who's a better individual to represent you? I'm walking the streets, delivering the mail, listening and talking with my constituents, and finding out the change that everybody wants and needs in Fitchburg. On November 5th, please vote for Trisha Park to represent you as our Ward 4 Councilor. Feel free to contact me with any of your questions and concerns. My email is trisha31171@yahoo.com. That's Trisha, Tricia, 31171@yahoo.com. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Angelo Bezal, and I'm running for Fitchburg Ward 5 City Councilor. I would like to thank FATV for giving the candidates a chance to be heard before the election. As a citizen and a volunteer for our city, I have witnessed firsthand the people and events that have contributed to the positive things in our city. I can see the pride that our residents and businesses take in everything they do, and I appreciate each and every one of them for their hard work in making Fitchburg a great place to live and work in. However, too often it is the actions of a small group of people that dictate how the community is perceived. We can find a solution to overcome this perception. We need to market our wonderful facilities like our senior center, our parks, libraries, schools, and recreational facilities that all contribute to the quality of life in our city. We need to promote the various family and cultural events that happen year-round. Through a vigorous marketing campaign, we can overcome the way others may view our city. Coupled with this marketing effort shall be an effort to build our current tax base. The fact is that without our current tax base, we will be severely challenged in the future to meet our financial obligations. We need to reach out to local realtors and business owners. With businesses, we need to understand the successes and challenges they face in our city. From our realtors, we need to learn how we can market all of the properties that are available to our city. Databases of properties exist, but do they communicate with each other in such a way that is user-friendly? I would like to see an approach where these properties are cataloged in such a fashion that prospective buyers could go online and review them, and those who are thinking about starting a business can find both the properties and the accompanying assets that make Fitchburg a great place to open a business in. Expansion of our tax base will strengthen our city's financial bottom line. This, in turn, will lessen the amount of taxes paid by current businesses and citizens. Over the past year, we have heard concerns from our citizens about crime. Providing all the citizens of our city, residents and business people, with a clean, safe, affordable city should be the goal of every elected official. It's one of my goals. In this area, prevention is key, and I endorse the concept of community policing. Our police department, working with informed, engaged citizens, can ensure that we stay ahead of the issues before they become a problem. As hard as we work together on this issue, we need to realize there are some aspects that exceed our current capabilities. Working with state and federal offices, we can build a sustained effort to keep our city safe. Because I know that I do not have all the answers, most important thing is that we as a community come together to learn from one another. Through open dialogue, we can find common ground to move this city forward. Please feel free to call me. My phone number is 508-431-3236. Talk to me, I'm listening. I'm a hardworking, honest person. I would be honored to serve the city of Fitchburg as Ward 5 Councilor. I'm asking for your vote on Tuesday, November 5th. Thank you.